everybody. We're here. We're live. I don't know how long it's been. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know where I am. That's what's up.
Hard drugs are a hell of a drug.
I got McFlurries
Or
are a hell
rather,
of a drug.
End of the semester is a hell of a time when 3 of your, 6 people are in school.
Yeah, right?
True.
We
Yeah.
are, in fact, missing TD Lane today, and we are missing... But I think that's okay. Fine.
Yeah, we
We'll be
hate those
fine.
guys.
So yeah. Welcome to our Dungeons & Dragons session called Guns, Magic, and Steel that we play every other Wednesday, usually, when we can.
I'm done.
Most of the time. We now have the chat participant thing in the bottom right, I think. Because I'm looking, I don't know, I think it's the bottom right. So you guys can actually see who the hell is talking when some of us are not using cameras. Yay! I did a thing and made the stream a little bit better. Good for me.
Yay.
Quality.
There's a ton of...
I tend to just rely on silly voices to help people know when I'm talking.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
but everybody kind of talks like Pogo, so...
There is a ton of stuff going on my channel today, this week, but you guys all know who I am, including some of the new segments or shows, I guess, that are starting on the channel. It's getting really eclectic up in here. But I think we should find out what everybody else is up to. Hi, everybody else. What are you up to?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Maddie. I'm your friendly neighborhood dungeon master. You can usually find me on the internet talking about science and stuff at Science Side Up. My schedule on that channel is erratic at best at the moment. PhD and life, and if you guys watch my channel, then you know by now. But hey, team, I'm 6 months pregnant, so I'm asleep a lot these days. Which is between that and PhD stuff, is why my channel is very erratic. But we've been doing usually either every week or every other week on a Saturday or a Sunday morning doing some pseudoscience debunking live streams. So that should happen this Sunday. And then one day I'll film a video again. I'll film an edited video again one day. But other than that, you can find me here on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, DMing, or on Wednesdays that aren't D&D days, playing Power Rangers TTRPG, where I get to be a player, and Dapper is the GM there over on his Top Hats Off channel. So Wednesdays are just like good game days. And one of these days, Chesh, one of these days you and I are going to do more D&D content for your channel.
I have a new segment set up for just that exact thing. By complete happenstance. It's called the Goblin's Lair. Instead of using the channel I made, I just made it a segment over here because this stuff's already set up. So feel free to join me on those. They'll mostly be recorded videos, I think. So look out for that.
We've got some good ideas, and I want to make D&D content, but I have a science channel.
Love D&D content. More D&D content. We want to have a discussion about whether or not the identify spell can recognize a curse, because it can't, and you didn't know that because you didn't read the book.
I've skimmed the book.
Anyway.
Hey, I'm gonna popcorn it over to Luke, and Luke, would you shill for your fiance?
Yes. Her name's Erica. She's my fiance. Anyway, I'm Luke.
Well done.
No, she's got like a YouTube channel. It's called like Gutsick Gibbon with the G.
She does science
content where she like bashes creationists or occasionally talks about anthropology that's unrelated to creation science.
I don't know if she so much bashes creationists so much as like the individuals, so much as just bashes creationism.
That's fair. Yeah. She's very cordial.
She's very nice kind. She's a lot nicer than I am most of the time.
She is pretty nice. But young Earth creationists, I should be specific. And then I'm her fiance, which is my only quality.
Oh.
And who are you playing tonight?
I'm playing Pogo. Pogo's a big, fat, soft-hearted cutie. I don't know if he's fat. He's just big-boned.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. and
Oh, do
he's
you?
not the brightest. And
Can I tell you
Erica,
a story about my
yes,
very good, very large boy, Shep, the Australian Shepherd?
I would love to
You mean
hear
he's
that.
the elephant?
No.
10
Well, he
points
might
for
be
that
part bear.
reference if anybody gets that.
He might
What
be
is
part
that
bear.
then?
We're not sure because he weighs like 100 pounds. He's a very big boy.
Oh.
He's just stocky. We had to get him a new groomer, because his old groomer was like, I don't feel comfortable grooming him anymore because he won't stand up long enough.
Mm.
He just wants to lay down.
Aw,
Mm.
little baby.
Little baby. He's also 10 years old, so he's a big old man and just wants to be
Aw.
in his comfy bed and doesn't mind if the groomer keeps shaving him. He's just gonna lay down.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, the reference for Shep, for anybody who got it, Shep is George of the Jungle's pet dog, which is an elephant.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think so hard. I was like, I know it's a live action elephant pet,
Mm.
but I don't remember the movie. Man, it's been a long time. I really liked the butler slash friend slash gorilla guy.
You mean Ape? An ape named
Oh
Ape?
yeah, Ape. Yeah, Ape. That's his name.
Oh.
Brendan Fraser's so hot still.
Brendan Fraser is so hot.
We love Brendan.
Anyway.
We stand Brendan Fraser on this channel.
True.
Absolutely.
And I'll
She
pop.
actually said Brendan Fraser instead of Brandon Fraser. I'm proud of you.
I never called him Brandon. If I did, it
Yeah,
was
you
just
did.
She's literally never done that.
I
for
don't
that
think I've literally ever done that unless I like completely just slipped out of the tongue. Not. It sounds
Anyway.
like fake news. Dapper's lying about me on my own channel. Get out of here, Dapper.
I'm gonna get popcorned over to Bent Opened.
Hi, I'm Bent Hovind. I do things like make music or talk about my uncle Kent that I'm not related to on Kent with Bent on the Dapper Dinosaur channel.
you
Then I
sure?
play what?
Could be related. You don't know.
I hope not. I have to
It's
change my username, and that is way too much work. I don't want to do that. But I play Milo Tea Leaf, who likes to get distracted by looking at clouds and sees what shapes they make and can talk to animals and plants, but doesn't really know what's going on a whole lot around him. But hey, at least he's there, right?
Is he?
Well, he's somewhere, probably.
Sometimes he's a bear.
Sometimes he's a bear.
Sometimes he's a bear.
Right now, I don't even know what he is, but that doesn't matter.
He's
So,
not a bull.
you know what he isn't is popcorn. And speaking of popcorn, let's popcorn over to Dapper Dinosaur.
Hey, that's me. I play Voldrin Glorid. He's a dwarf. He does dwarf things like artificing. He doesn't do some dwarf things like having a high constitution score.
Sure doesn't.
Dwarfs die.
Yeah, that's one of the dwarf things he does not do very well.
He gets bonked a lot.
Yeah, he does get bonked a lot. Although he's getting better at staying behind the front lines. Although sometimes breath attacks happen, and he just immediately drops.
You guys were fighting a Neolithid. This is
True.
not.
No, it's not a very easy. But anyway, yeah. So you can find me over on my channel, the Dapper Dinosaur. I do, like Benton mentioned, show on the default Tuesday show is Kent with Bent. It is now the Minority Tuesday show, however, but it is still the default because people cancel or there's like a fifth Tuesday. It's Kent with Bent. I also do a bunch of other stuff. I usually have 3 videos coming out a week. Usually there's something on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But also, I'm here every other Wednesday, and then every other Wednesday that isn't this other Wednesday. You know what I mean? The other Wednesdays that I'm not here, I'm, as Maddie said, over there at Power Rangers Jungle Beasts. We're going to be doing episode 3 next week. There's like 2 episodes and a little like episode 2.5. There's just a cute little 4-minute video to bridge little time gap because there's going to be a little jump in time between episodes 2 and 3. So yeah, there's about 4 hours and 4 minutes or so of that to watch if you want to. So there you go.
All right.
Oh, I also have a quick announcement. Erica and I will not be here probably the next 2 sessions. at least one, because we're transitioning from fiancés to wives, husband, wife, I guess, husbands? I don't know how you do it if it's multiple.
Hey, that's up to you.
That's up to you.
Congratulations.
That's so exciting.
you.
Congrats.
It's been planned for a while now, so
Yeah.
it's finally actually happening. Who would have thought she'd go through with it? What a dummy.
Hey, hasn't happened yet.
Got
You
'em.
never know.
Fingers crossed.
True,
There's
50-50
still time
chance.
to cancel.
Okay. Well,
Sweet.
with that, let's figure out what in the world is gonna happen this week, because I don't know. Because here's where we left off. Team, here's where we left off. After fighting the Neolithid, our very good friend, the Tabaxi Rogue, Calypso. I always get thrown off transitioning from calling you Chesh to Calypso because they both start with C's, and
Calypso starts with a K.
not the way she spells it. Anyway, so she had been hit by a feeble mind spell, and then the rest of the party, you brought her back to the town of Tonkawa, where you discovered the concept of a hospital and a centralized medical system, also a socialized medical system, where it was free, and that was very concerning to all of you. Left her there, and went to seek the assistance of a druid who would be able to help your friend quicker than the resources that the hospital had, because Greater Restoration is like a costly spell. So you guys went, you met a lovely clan of druids, you helped them out a little bit, you brought back their like elder druid who could do the Greater Restoration spell, and then we got Calypso healed, and so she is back to her full self, and unfortunately remembers everything that happened, even if it was through a bit of a fog.
Oh boy.
You guys also were approached by one of the members of the sort of three noble families that rule over this town and the mithril mines in this part of the country. And he wanted to hire you to go find his wayward, long lost cousin who had come here with great, what he thought were great ideas on how to improve mining output. But nobody was biting. He wasn't doing things the right way, as your contact said. And he has gotten himself lost in the mountains. He's been gone for about 3 days. So
Many of his suggestions were actually OSHA violations.
Many of his suggestions were, in fact, fantasy OSHA violations. Yes. And Calypso also was speaking to this man and the leader of the miners
Yeah,
union.
set up a meeting with the
So
head.
you wanted to try to set up a meeting with like the town, basically the town council, which is representatives from each of the noble families, and the leaders of the unions. There's a couple of unions in town.
Yeah. Right.
To discuss the problem of
I'm pretty sure we were in like an inn or a shop or something.
You were in an inn. Yeah. And you had been offered 5,000 gold to go find the wayward cousin, but a very good intimidation persuasion check, renegotiating that price is open to you. So you guys are all in not the busiest of taverns. It's a weeknight, but it's getting kind of late. There's a few people around. It's not like bustling crazy energy. It's just kind of low-key. Listen, it's a pub on a Tuesday night when it's not during the World Cup. How's that? Right?
I've been to a good number.
Yeah. That's the vibe. That's the energy we got.
As Dapper Dinosaur, Tuesday's like the only day I get drunk.
Tuesday's the only day I don't.
We're in a bar. Can you change the TV to the Kent with Bent, please?
It is a Tuesday.
Or is it Eric with Erica today?
No, we had to cancel that this month.
Yeah.
Why?
Son
She's
of a
not
gun.
doing anything.
Actually, I'm pretty sure she might be. Just doing a few things.
Doing a few things. So, what is it you guys would like to do? The meeting, like with the town council, messages have been sent, right? That's kind of in the works. There's
So
also
this
time for you
is-
to just, yeah.
Sorry. So this is the meeting that we wanted to discuss, like the fact that there's a Neothelid running around in a cave, and like this is not directly about the cousin, right?
Correct.
Okay, just double checking. I don't have anything in particular that I want to do until then, other than I guess hang out at the pub,
Okay.
do pub things. Do they have darts?
They got darts.
I'll play some darts. There you go.
Okay.
It's like target practice.
Yeah, love it. Is there anything you guys want to discuss amongst yourselves or planning or figure out before we jump ahead in time?
Well, do we already have our plan as to what we're gonna say? I figure it's mostly just flatly tell them what happened, because like I don't think we have anything to hide. So like I figure that would just be our plan. Would just whoever has the best like persuasion skill check can go and say, "Oh, this is what happened." Maybe you guys
that
should
me.
worry about that.
Me very persuasive.
Pogo, I didn't think you should be the one to do all the talking. Maybe
I
a bit of
do
it.
the talking. That's how our dynamic work.
Is it?
Dynamic, big word. It like when one person bigger than other person.
Pogo, one of these days, we're going to get you a dictionary. I think you might be surprised by some of it.
No, I read dictionary all the time. I have one written on palm right now.
Well, that's very impressive. But I was thinking, what if the cat lady did the talking and we just hung back and had a beer?
Okay, you very persuasive too.
Thank you.
That sounds
What?
good.
Tell you what, Pogo, let's go get you a beer right now.
Okay.
All right, I'll wander off and I'll buy 2 beers. How much is that? I figure it's not very much.
No, it's like 5 copper. Like,
Practically free.
All
yeah,
right.
Same as
you guys
real
are
life.
good.
Can I change to silver?
Yeah, they can change to silver for you.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Here you go, Pogo. Here's the beer.
We're the other half.
Well, let's worry about this one. I think this is the biggest cup they've got. So, it's... Look, there are small folk here, like me.
Bartender, you got bigger cup.
I got a boot.
Clean
Like,
boot.
is it...
No.
Okay. I guess I just drink out of little puny baby cup.
I'm gonna pull Vyra aside just for a quick second and suggest that it might be a good idea to get Pogo checked out with at this hospital.
Okay.
Or like just like a general checkup, like maybe some like identify, or maybe some like detect magic, or maybe some like he told me he hears voices in his head and maybe we should get that checked out.
We need a fantasy psychiatrist.
Yep.
Hold on. Why can't I think of a Jersey accent right now?
Ah, jeez, man, I don't know,
I don't know,
I don't know, Calypso.
If you think that's best, Calypso.
I don't think Vyra would say that.
No, she wouldn't at all. Can't find the accent. It's not gonna work.
Listen here, Cat. You gotta know that there's a little bit of a problem every time we go into one of these sorts of places. They're not exactly, the most friendliest. And let you know that there's always a cost to everything. So I never trust places. Never trust places where they're saying you're getting something for free.
Especially if it's coming from a cleric.
I'll drink to that.
Okay, so let's say Vira is amenable to your proposition.
It's a suggestion to be thought about, not acted upon necessarily right this very second.
Okay. Okay, so we'll put a pin in that. And then let's go ahead. Why don't we go ahead and fast forward to the next day? Is there anything you guys want to accomplish in town? Like, do you want... This is a pretty large city if you wanted to check out, like, shops or anything. Or we can just jump ahead to... like, there's gonna... The meeting will be held that night.
So I have had as a medium-term goal changing out one of my infusions for a homunculus, and I
Cool.
don't remember exactly what components I need, but I think I might go look for components for that.
Okay,
So
I think you can...
What I'm gonna do,
Like
Yeah.
the creature? Like the
well,
the
like
one in the
artificer
monster
and-
manual?
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
The one in real life.
Right.
I'm a homunculus in real life.
I think that theory isn't given enough credit.
So there is not a shop here where like a wizard has set up and is selling magical wares, but there's definitely shops that supply wizards, right? If that kind of makes sense. So so you can definitely find any magical components that you need. Without any problem. And I will mention specifically one thing, that at any like of these basic shops, they do carry they're an authorized Crazy Eddie's retailer. So they have his standard it's Crazy Eddie's Uncommon 6-pack. So it is a pack of 6 different potions manufactured by Crazy Eddie. If that is something you would be interested in.
Voldrin doesn't have the best of experiences with the Crazy Eddie potions.
That's true.
You wouldn't know that.
I feel like Pogo would probably be pretty vulnerable to the sales pitch of having 6 different potions. You don't know what they do.
Yeah, well, so you can know. So let me tell you how Crazy Eddie's Uncommon 6-pack works.
Okay.
I can tell you what they're supposed to do.
Can you do it in what's that guy, Billy something voice?
Billy?
That one guy who was like famous infomercial.
Billy
Billy
Mays.
Mays here.
Billy
Billy
Mays
Mays.
here.
Yeah.
All right, in Crazy Eddie's Uncommon 6-pack, you get 1 potion of strength, makes your muscles so big your strength becomes a 21 for 1 hour. Potion, you get also not just the potion of strength, but you get 1 potion of dexterity. Same thing, but with your dex, super nimble ninja stuff.
I like that we diegetically now know what ability scores are. Very
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
kidding.
I feel like they're just made up numbers for Crazy Eddie's shop, though. Like, nobody else uses them. They don't have any, like, actual understanding. It's just Crazy Eddie's shop. It's just like, your strength's at a 21! It's over 9,000! It's just completely meaningless.
He leaves hearing this, and he's like, what? This sounds interesting.
You
I need
also
to-
get, additionally, a potion of charisma. Do you have trouble making friends and influencing people? This potion of charisma is
No.
what you need.
Oh, I need it.
Yep.
That's not all.
But that's not all. You get a potion of fire breath. After drinking this potion, you can use a bonus action to exhale fire at a target within 30 feet of you.
That would happen after Voldrin drinking.
You get to do this 3 times in an hour. But that's not all. Can you believe it? You also can have
Then
1
more?
potion of growth and 1 potion of reduction.
You can make me bigger?
Or smaller.
Why you not say that first? Me want.
And all of this for the low price of 50 gold.
Pogo just puts his entire coin purse.
Okay. So you have
Wow.
1 Crazy Eddie's Uncommon 6-pack. I will figure out how to I have it in D&D Beyond. I'll figure out how to share it with you just so you guys know, right? Because I, Maddie the DM, want to be upfront about this. when you drink one of these potions, you are going to roll a 1d6. And in the event you roll a 1, the potion does not work as expected. So I've got a d20 table for what happens instead. And you're welcome to look at the table. It's not I will say this. It's all of the effects are like neutral or positive.
Not likely
There's
gonna kill us.
There's nothing on here that's gonna kill you.
We learned that mistake last time.
Yeah. Last time Maddie homebrewed a potion, my healing potion killed someone. So anyway, the worst that can happen is that you would polymorph into a goldfish.
Nice.
Hey, can we turn the goldfish into a Gyarados eventually if we just put it at the front of our team and then pull it back immediately?
You can now. Man, 10-year-old Maddie on her Game Boy Color playing Pokemon Red got her Gyarados, and it took so long.
So much grinding.
I got a Gyarados in Pokemon Legends Arceus really early because a Pokemon knocked me off of a ledge and into the area where I could get a Magikarp real early. So I got a Gyarados real quick. On the other hand, though, he is not currently in my direct party right this second, but he is a part of Team Mustache that we're working on.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so
Mustache.
Pogo has. I'll see if I can. I'll figure it out. But Pogo, you've got this 6-pack of potions.
Okay, remind me really quickly. It was strength, dexterity, charisma, growth, shrink. What's else?
And fire breath.
Fire breath. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. So Voldrin, you're able to get all those components that you want. So anything that you need, feel free to just you're able to get those, knock that off your at your convenience, knock that off your do the accounting at your convenience. Okay, anything else you guys want to accomplish during this day?
I've sadly just learned that I'm 2 gold pieces short of my material components. So
Do you want to try to negotiate it down?
I mean, does the gem seller is he amenable to reducing the price on a 100 gold piece gem?
No. Well, you know what? Roll me a persuasion check. DC 18.
All right. Oh wait, no.
Also, might be worth asking other members of the party if they could give you a loan of some sort. Not metagaming though.
Oh, that's a bad roll.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Milo.
Mm-hmm.
Could you spot me I don't know, 4 gold pieces?
No, but I can give you 5.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
You sure you don't want them back?
Well,
also,
if I
team,
wanted
I'm
them
sorry
back,
to
I
do
wouldn't
this.
be giving.
Uh-oh.
That's fair.
But Maddie, the pregnant DM, needs a bio break, so I will be right back.
Yay!
That's perfect. I need
Feel
to
free to talk amongst yourselves.
BRB!
Also BRB.
hey, welcome back, everybody. We are back. The bio break.
Thank you.
I feel better.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, I needed to pee too.
Yeah.
It do be like that.
Yeah. Listen, baby is small, but very opinionated.
Most small things are. I would know.
Excellent.
M small, can confirm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
All
like
right, well, I give
next
up on
level
that.
fourth
That's
wall
fine.
breaking.
Okay, so Voldrin got his supplies. Pogo got his potions. Anything else we needed to do? Or anything else people are looking for?
No, I'm just gonna
Love.
go to my meeting and try to remember everything I wanted to tell those people.
Okay. So, that night you go to a meeting. It's held. They have like a physical town hall, for just such an occasion. And so you go, and there's like a long, effectively a conference table, right? You're shown into a room, and there's 8 people seated at the table. There's a few other people seated around. Um, uh, Almost everybody seated at the table is a dwarf. I think there's like, yeah, to be expected. This is mostly a dwarven city, of hill dwarfs, but yeah, you recognize, he's not seated at the table, but did I name him Thomas? I was looking through my notes for what I named the guy of the Hoskin family that y'all talked to.
We're calling him
And
Thomas
I remember
now.
last game I was naming everyone Thomas because that's the only name I could think of.
I thought
it.
you named
It's a
him.
good name.
I thought you named him something that kind of sounded like Hoskins.
Oh, Hoskins was his last name. Did I name him Harry Hoskins? I named him Harry.
Yeah,
I
that's
named him
what it
Harry
was.
Hoskins.
Yeah, it was
That's what it
alliterative.
was. Because you guys, so to avoid naming him Thomas, because that was the only name I could think of, I named him Harry Hoskins, and one day he'll be a Marvel superhero when he grows up. He's not seated at the table. He's seated like against a wall. So you get the sense that like there's the council members and then there's like other interested parties. But you do
Nice.
recognize the head of the miners union that you spoke to. He's seated at the table.
And did anybody from the party come with me? Or am I alone?
Great question. Did everybody go together?
I think I'll go with Calypso.
Okay.
We people who have like, you know, a +4 or above persuasion, we got to stick together.
All right, so me and Voldrin will be there then. That works.
Okay.
And
Pogo, are you there?
me and Vyra will wait outside and watch
Drinks.
for any shenanigans.
Getting drinks.
Okay. And so let's say that our favorite kobold barbarian is with y'all.
Perfect.
He's
So
trying to eat melons.
Kakamakis is trying to eat melons. He found a pie somewhere.
Yeah,
He
from
heard someone say that
some
the
old
Triceratops
lady.
Rex use those big old teeth to eat melons, and he's been working on melons ever since. It's not working very well.
Yeah, not on a melon. What about you, Milo? Are you
I'll go with Calypso and Waldron.
okay? Great.
We split the party like we always
Split
do
the
because it's the
party.
best idea.
We're splitting the party between people who are here and Pogo and everyone else.
Pogo just waits
Look.
outside. So I want to accomplish absolutely nothing while the party is split.
Wonderful.
Okay, excellent.
All right, and so do we get like led in and they're already discussing something? Because I'm going to give Voldrin a really quick, listen, dear, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to tell them what we found. We're going to tell them where we found it. We're going to give them pretty much all the information we currently have because I feel like perhaps we should probably have potentially like a higher grade service members potentially going out and surveying the area a little bit further with people with a little bit more equipment, let's say, to people who are more equipped to deal with the situation we happen to run into. However, we're going to charge them for it.
What if they don't want to pay?
Then we don't give them the information and we find other ways to deal with it. It's not really our problem. We're doing them a favor.
All right, but how do we?
It's only a
how do
matter
we
of time
convince them-
before that thing comes down and eats their town.
All right, but how do we convince them that they need the information that we're charging for without giving away the information?
Oh, let me handle that deal.
All right,
I'm just letting you know the game plan.
all right, sounds good to me.
You guys are brought in into the council chamber. Seated at like the head of this conference table is an elderly dwarf. He's got, you know, like white hair, white beard, very well taken care of. And he greets you.
I will greet him back in Dwarven. I speak
Ooh.
Dwarvish.
Okay. So he initially speaks in common and says, welcome. We understand that you and your party ran into a bit of trouble up in the mountains. You have some concerns for our city.
Is he speaking to me in common or is he speaking to me in Dwarvish? Because if he's speaking to me in Dwarvish, I'm going to continue in Dwarvish.
Okay,
we have a
so
quick super
that. Oh, we have a super chat. Chat, you want to read that?
Yeah, April for $75 said, "Congratulations, Maddie. Chesh, will you please get her a baby gift for me? I will certainly try."
Aw, that's super sweet, team.
And I make sure I can get her
Uh,
something that makes sense. I don't trust myself. I'll see what I can do.
Maddie, get a wish list.
Oh, I should do that.
Should.
I'm really
Someone was
bad.
very nice. They've got me like a beer and wine glass set with Klingon on it. It was very, very
Ooh.
fancy.
Nice. Nice.
Which is good because I'm desperately low on decent volume glasses. So
Yeah.
I've broken like
Okay.
one a month for the last like 4 or 5 months.
And you don't have a mega pint glass?
I don't.
That's a shame.
So once you speak to him in Dwarven, this old Dwarven man, he like you get a smile out of him, a very grandfatherly smile, and he replies in comment, or I think he replies to you in Dwarvish and says, "That's very considerate of you, young lady, but I think we council meetings are traditionally done and recorded in common, so." And then he switches over to common and
So it's basically just a Dwarven greeting back and forth and then switch to common.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the rest of the table.
yes.
Yes,
Except me, who also knows Dwarven.
of course, sir, we ran into a little bit of problem that may be considered a threat, quite a large one, to your entire town, potentially. It seems that there's a little bit of war left over, up in the mountains. The best advice I would be able to give is potentially garnering some people from perhaps the big city to people who are a little bit better equipped to handle that sort of a situation than we are.
Leftover from leftover from the war, you say?
I'm assuming he's old enough that he would remember and know what I'm
Oh,
talking
absolutely. This was
Okay.
only like 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, perfect.
So he's like,
Yeah.
I saw to the killing of the elder brain myself.
about. Yes, it's not an elder brain that's in there.
Hmm.
It's big, purple, worm type creature.
And there's some mutterings around the table. And but the again, this older dwarf who's been speaking just says, Neolith it then.
That sounds right. I'll look at Voldrin and say that's what it is. Yes.
That's it. He's a man of few words.
Mm-hmm.
You're sure?
Well, I mean, it was breathing acid and had a feeble mind effect, and it was floating in the air, so pretty sure. Did you make sure to drain the entire brine pool that the elder brain was in? Because I'm going to go on a limb and say, no, you didn't.
There's some like
Flash of
give me
oh shit.
perception checks. Give me perception checks.
All right.
Yay. Where the heck is my perception roll? There it is.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oof. Okay, so Volvin,
At
you don't see
20.
this. Bent, you're not paying attention to what people are saying. You absolutely catch this. And Calypso, I think you get a little bit of it. There's some like very brief accusatory eyes going around the table. Right.
A little bit of hostility in the air.
Little bit of wasn't that your job? Right. And I'll say that Milo is the only one that like really catches.
True.
Everybody kind of turns to this like one dwarf, like everything's pointed at him, and it's not the guy at the head of the table.
Hey, all you
Anyway.
people who are talking, look over there, and then Milo points.
So it's a dwarf you don't recognize, but he is sitting on the left-hand side. He's clearly one of the noble families, the head of the noble families.
Yeah.
And is sitting on the left-hand side of our oldest dwarf there. So that was his job. And so anyway, there's some muttering going around the table, like this is definitely a threat. And one of the people at the table pipes up and kind of asks, was it, did you find them in the old Mind Flare colony?
We didn't quite go too far before we bumped into the creature, so it's a little bit probably closer to the surface than the colony itself actually is. We weren't able to get that deep, fortunately.
Okay. I will say this, Chesh, because it's been like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The room where you fought the Neolithid in was the Elder Brain room.
Oh, okay.
Right? Was where the Elder Brain used to live.
Oh, okay, got it. It
So
looked like there was probably a pool there at some point.
And I mean, like you also, you know, you can have this for free. You also clock that this is a weird place for a Mind Flare colony.
Yeah.
You're thinking, like, if you think about it for a minute, this was probably like
an outpost with an Elder Brain.
An outpost, or like a forward staging area for the war, or like maybe they were prepping for more of an invasion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd probably just relay that it wasn't a full colony area per se. It was smaller than that. However, it did have what would be, I believe, a brain pool.
Yeah.
Or was a brain pool. There certainly was no brain there that we could find.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's definitely concerning because they know how close that is. And another, like, there's one human female at this table. It's like one human female and everyone, and 7 male dwarves, right? So the human female speaks up and says, is this, what I'm hearing you say is that this threat is beyond the current capabilities of your group. Is it a matter of, do you feel it's a matter of numbers or firepower, or both?
Perhaps more. I think our group would be able to potentially handle it if we had the correct equipment and it didn't get the drop on us. Perhaps with a little bit of additional protection than what we currently, or what we did have at the time.
Okay, and there's some nods and murmurs going around the table. And after a bit of discussion, so now the council kind of starts to discuss, right? You're hearing someone say, like, we should call down south for the army, you know, and then the obvious retort of, like, what's the army gonna do? They couldn't find their left foot in the mountains during the war. We have some people here now. She thinks they were just with the right equipment, they could get it done. We've got equipment, you know.
Knowing that it's there is certainly helpful.
Yeah. Someone else chimes up and is like, well, if it's been living in the mountains this long, without bothering anybody, who's to say it won't just stay there?
Who's to
Well,
say?
you see, they get hungry, and just like regular mind flayers, they need to eat some brains. And my guess is that it's going to run out of brains there in the cave, because let's face it, who else lives there?
Well,
Probably not that many people.
perhaps, but the reason we came across it was because we were pursuing some people, and during our investigation, we have reason to believe that the individual we are pursuing, or individuals we are pursuing, are potentially working with an illithid.
A huge uproar at that. Like, that's impossible. Everyone knows all of the Illithid are dead.
Oh, yeah, sure, certainly. Just like how you know for
Right.
sure, 100%, that you killed that elder brain, and we definitely didn't find a big purple worm.
And you definitely drained the brine pool. That's the thing that 100% happened, right? That's what happened. Look,
Everyone
never-
notices eyes go to that guy on the left.
Got
We
him.
drained the brine pool.
Well, point being that, for all we know, somebody could be feeding this thing.
Ooh. Okay, that definitely gets people's attention.
If it's been there for that long, why is it still alive even though it hasn't eaten anyone or anything? It has to be consuming something.
So
Any
again, there's
disappearances recently?
like a quiet thought for a minute, and once again the lone human female is like, just that asinine cousin of yours. But I don't think that's related.
Well, you never know.
Wait, who's his asinine cousin? Is this
No, the
anything we're
asinine
aware?
cousin that you were asked to rescue, the one that came up from the south.
Oh, we did that already, right?
No, you haven't rescued him at all.
We just got that the other.
You
Okay,
just got
yeah,
that
yeah,
last
yeah.
time. Yeah, he's been missing in the mountains for 3 days.
Chesh is here, I promise.
Southerner. Okay, so at this point, so there's a lot of like discussion going on, especially at the insulting of the cousin. A lot of kind of like conversations getting loud.
I'm gonna like watch the guy in charge. I'm like keeping an eye on
Okay.
him.
He is very cool and collected. This is not his first rodeo.
Yeah.
And he's mostly listening at this point. He's not talking a lot. But once things get a little loud, he has a little gavel. But it's like, okay, it's the size of a gavel, but it is carved like a small like warhammer, right? So he has a little gavel hammer.
Neat.
And he like smacks it on the table, and calls for quiet. And then he turns his attention to you, you, Calypso, and Voldren, and Milo. And he says, I would ask you to excuse yourselves from the council chamber. We have a few things to discuss in private. Please don't go far. We won't be long and would like to talk to you again.
Oh, I would suspect so.
Okay.
Good evening. I will say good evening to the table, then I will say good evening to him in Dwarvish, and I will usher our
You
friends
get
in.
another little smile out of him, and he gives you like a Dwarvish appropriate evening thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dwarves are French.
No, these dwarves are not French.
There
Listen,
is no France.
Through me panicking and to name this town, I named it after the first town I could think of, which is Tonkawa.
Come here.
And so now we're using a lot of Cherokee touchstones.
Nice.
Come here.
Anyway, for the
That's
hill
where we
dwarf.
can get
That's where you can get Pennigan here, exactly. Okay, so you guys step out. You're free, of course, to talk amongst yourselves, but if there's after 20 to 30 minutes, you are like called back in unless there's anything you want to discuss amongst yourselves.
I don't have anything in particular.
We just sit in silence and stare at each other.
Twiddle your thumbs. Okay.
I'm gonna pull out a pack of cards. Do some fancy
Love
card
it.
shuffling.
Yeah. Okay. So after, again, 20-30 minutes, you're brought back in, and there's some frowns on some faces, especially dwarf on the left.
Could I hear anything that was going on the other side of the door? Can I eavesdrop?
Yeah, perception check.
Alright, cool. I'll listen in on some of this nonsense. I mean, I don't think I really care that much. My passive perception is 16, though.
Okay, so I will call it a minimum of a 16 because nothing's like trying to obscure you, but go ahead and give me a roll to see if you do better than that. 17. Okay, beautiful.
There we go.
Okay. So with a 17, that's pretty good. I think you probably missed the first bit of the conversation, but you catch that pretty quick. Like, you definitely can tell it's the voice of that older dwarf that's clearly kind of in charge of the council.
Yeah.
I guess he could have introduced himself to you.
It's okay. He was big dwarf, older dwarf in charge for now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sure, his name was
Got a name tag at his desk. His
Exactly.
seat's got a name
Everybody
tag.
else knows who he is. It didn't occur to him to introduce himself.
I didn't tell him my name either, so
There you go. So he pretty quickly is kind of taking the reins, and you hear him say that this needs to be addressed urgently. And no, not just for my nephew's sake. And so it's like, and so I put forth to the council that we hire these adventurers. My family has already offered to put forth 5,000 gold to them to search for my nephew. We would move that reward to deal with the Neolithid. And we would ask that the other families put forth, at least meet our pledge of 5,000 gold, either in goods, equipment, or gold. And then he says, and we would put it to the guilds if there is appropriate equipment that can be given or lent for such a venture. What can the different guilds bring forward? And so then there's discussion of like pretty quickly they're on board with like asking you guys to go deal with this. And now it's just the negotiations of who's going to pay what. One of the loudest voices is again that one human female, and she's like, I represent the seamstress guild. Do you want me to fix their cloaks? Like, so she's like, I'm not like, what do you want from us? We don't have a lot to give. There's definitely you can't quite tell. There's definitely one of the noble families is trying to get out of pain as much. And they really quickly get piled on, and you figure out this is absolutely that dwarf sitting on the left that we think is his fault. And there's some discussion of like gifts or lending of so gifts from some of the noble families of items, right? And there's also some of the guilds, because there's not just the miners guild, but then there's also like an artisans guild. So you would know that this town, not only do they like mine mithril, they also work it. And so there's some discussion of like realistically how much armor could we offer? Can if the guild puts up like one chain shirt, will one of the noble families pay for 2 more to give out, right?
They're all
So
just
there's
negotiating about like.
Yeah.
Can
So
I like potentially interrupt and say, perhaps it might be a good idea if we were to procure for you an estimation or a list of things that we might be able to utilize or that might make our job easier, and then you guys can negotiate the details, let's say. And then maybe kind of like glance over to some of the cheap assholes and say, to please your bean counters, as it were, just to make sure that no one is getting overcharged for the good hard work that we are going to do, putting our lives at risk.
Well, I just tried to roll a d20 luck check for you to see how our head of the council feels about being interrupted, but my die went over there, so we're going to my other die.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt him. I meant to interrupt the group of everybody arguing.
Well, no, but he asked you to leave, right?
Oh, wait, this is while I was outside on the other room?
This is everything you're
never
hearing
mind.
from the
Sorry,
outside.
I thought we were
Okay.
back in the room. My bad. Never mind.
No, this is everything.
I take
you're
it back.
hearing
I take it back.
without
This is just
perception
what they're
check.
all arguing. Okay. In
Okay,
that
yeah,
case,
they're
I'm
all
gonna
arguing.
nudge Voldrin and say, dear, I believe we've succeeded in 1, procuring money, 2, procuring goods, and 3, potentially procuring some goods, stuff that we just things, stuff and things.
Well, that's
I
good,
look
but,
kind of smug.
Do you think they got anything that can save us from being doused in acid? That happened last time.
We'll certainly have to. I think it will be a good idea that or have a rough idea of some things that we might think valuable in fighting an illithid for our group specifically. So I will leave that to you. I want to come up with a brief.
And so let's
Since
say
you're more,
that
you have more knowledge about the creature.
So let's say that after about 30 minutes, your friend Harry Hoskins comes out just himself. He just steps out and basically asks you for, can you give us a sense of so it's like we would like, the council would like to hire you all to deal with the Neolithid. As part of payment for that would include equipment to deal with it. Some to be lent, some to be given.
Well,
Can you give us an idea of what you need? And
So
he's ready with quill in hand.
the biggest threat when dealing with one of these is, 1, the acid breath. So we might need something that would enhance our ability to get out of the way of the acid breath. Maybe something that gets some resistance to acid. Something like that.
Armor, potions, talismans.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
The other big one, though, is what happened to my friend here, Calypso, where she got big dumb. What was it? 3 days? Was it 3 days? 4 days?
I don't know. It took you guys a while to wrangle the situation. The feeble mind capability of
Aye.
the creature
Any mind protecting.
is very problematic. It's particularly problematic to a couple of our party members, but not all. So we would not necessarily need 7 or 6. We wouldn't necessarily need 6 items per se, but if we could 3 to protect those of us who definitely require for spellcasting purposes.
Honestly, I'd still say the more the better. Because
Oh, of
you never
course,
know.
but it's not necessary.
And of course,
I don't
there's
think
always...
Feeble Mind is going to affect Pogo that harshly. Or Kakamukas for that matter. Anyway.
Well, aye, that's true. But
Some of us
I'd
are
rather-
already immune to Feeble Minds, basically.
I'd still rather have them able to talk, if at all possible.
Are you sure?
Well, look.
Don't
I can
worry
see the
about it.
argument
The
for a while.
internal problems, we do not
Fair.
need a full set for resisting something
of
like
course-
Feeble Mind.
You know, anything that can, well, chop into it real good. You know, any kind of enchanted blades, bombs.
I would
alchemist
be
fire.
cautious about using bombs, only because we risk burying it along with ourselves, and we don't necessarily want to
It'll be
bury.
fine.
I don't think we want to bury it, because then we won't be able to actually investigate. To potentially see who the hell's been feeding this thing, because realistically, it's in our best interest to wait and.
What? You just never want me to be able to blow anything up. That's what it
Not
is.
while I'm in it!
Well, you toss it towards the thing, not near you.
Oh yes,
on the other side of the
I
bomb.
thought I thought you were someone who would supposedly know something about using explosives in a mine.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Uh,
I'm not saying it's safe, but look, if you wanted to be safe, you wouldn't be coming on this trip, would you?
all right, well, back on track. What else do we need, Aldrin?
Let's see. We probably need. Well, we got weapons, armor, protection for our brains. If you wanted to throw a few extra bodies,
Protection from acid.
protection from acid.
Anything or anyone that might be good for inducing some kind of trap. I think the most effective thing we had utilized was Milo's abilities.
Yeah, Milo, your moonbeam was did most of the damage. So Chesh had it. Calypso had a crit sneak attack, which did a lot of damage, and other than that, the moonbeam did a lot. So Harry kind of is tapping his quill.
Potentially somebody, if you can send us with a group of people that may not have to go in with us, but can help us get from point A to point B, because I know that when we got surprised by this thing, we also weren't in tip-top shape, so perhaps if we can get an escort to the area, that would make our life a little bit easier.
Also, you got trolls in the hills, alright? We fought some trolls on the way. It's not as big a deal, but you might want to know.
Oh, they don't normally come down the mountains this far.
Telling you, there's somebody doing some shenanigans.
But Harry kind of looks up and asks, "We don't have a lot of magic users in town.
Yeah, hospital full of them.
Got some druids down the
I was about to
road.
say, except for our clerics. Now, none of them have any fighting experience, but would perhaps having a cleric or two on standby in case of the feeble mind happening again."
Are you telling us that this town is Oops All Clerics? Link below.
This town is Oops All Clerics. Yeah, this is the only.
Hopefully, slightly less culty though.
Yes, less cult.
Yes, I think having a cleric or two along that might be able to quickly restore one or two of us whenever there's ever some
Or
problem.
more than one cleric. That might be an option too. You can never have too much healing.
He's very
is
overcautious.
my motto. Look, I didn't even want to die. What am I going to spend all the money on? I got a wife and daughter to feed. Eventually.
Okay.
I do. I've got a wife and a daughter. It's in my character background. Did you read it?
To feed eventually.
Well, I can't always send back remittances. Sometimes I gotta make a homunculus. It's a thing.
Well, perhaps you can get a couple of pieces for that as part of this.
Besides, they both got jobs. It's not that.
So I, Maddie the DM, I'm gonna check in with Pogo and Milo. Do you guys have any dream sheet equipment requests to deal specifically with the Neolithid?
Pogo asks if we have any salt. We got salt. I put salt on worm once.
Treating it like it's a slug.
It might work. You never know.
Harry nods really slowly and goes ahead and writes down salt.
Good boy, Harry.
Oh, and some lime. Not the fruit, the rock, because it can counter acid. you combine acid and some lime, and you just get some water, some steam, and some salt.
Yeah. And
Okay.
maybe some tequila if you got it.
Oh, yeah, some rum.
Does agave grow in Dyer? I don't even know.
It's imported from Mexico.
Sure, it's imported.
It's imported from Fantasy Mexico.
Yeah.
Rum.
Okay. What about Milo? Does Milo have any requests?
Just the rum.
Just the rum. Okay. Okay. So Harry kind of like nods and takes the list inside. Okay. All right, and after a little bit longer, you guys are brought in. And okay, head dwarf guy says is like, okay, we would like to offer you as a group a flat rate of 10,000 gold plus the use of, I think we can spare 2 clerics and a couple orderlies from the hospital.
What's an orderly?
An
Somebody
orderly, somebody to
works.
carry you off the battlefield when you die after the acid breath again.
That won't happen.
I don't
Well-
think that seems like a bad idea. We shouldn't be dying at all.
So we're
Sorry, that
already
was
plenty
Maddie
prepared.
speaking, not the elderly.
Maybe we wouldn't die if those orderlies would fight.
I don't want people giving orders.
You should remember, Voldrin went to the hospital and, not knowing what else to do, asked to purchase one hospital, please.
I absolutely, for some reason, in a world where hospitals are a thing that exists, nobody in this party knows what a hospital is except for my character somehow.
You're a fancy noble person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why
Learn
you
from
need to
some-
stay in school, kids.
Why stay in school when you can just lay outside next to the animals and look at the clouds?
So you know what a
He's got a
hospital
point.
is.
A what now?
Yeah.
Oh wait, deja vu.
I like that.
Okay. They can offer you one, it's like a tower shield that has acid resistance on it.
Ooh.
So it is big enough, right, that if you could get fully behind it, you could, like, the acid would not hit you.
It's full cover.
Yeah, it can give you full cover. Yeah. And the acid won't damage this shield.
Nice.
This seemed like good for me to have.
Probably.
And sorry, I'm working on the list as we're chatting right now.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be one that you don't get to keep. And you also don't get to keep the clerics, if that was unclear.
Oh,
They
Can we keep the
Brain-
orderlies?
hey, they're employees. They're free to come with you guys if they so choose.
We're not gonna pay them.
Wait, aren't the clerics also technically employees? Like, couldn't
Technically
they also-
employees. Look, you guys can
Alright.
try to convince a cleric NPC to come play with you if you want, if you so desire.
Oh boy.
Um,
If Calypso dies, I am bringing in the greatest healer you guys have ever seen.
Nice.
What's one more NPC in our party anyway?
right, yeah.
Look, I already have a cleric backup character for when Voldrin dies because I expect that to happen
Oh,
eventually.
I didn't say I was gonna be a cleric.
I didn't say you were either. I just said I do in fact have a cleric backup NP or a PC already rolled out.
Fine, I'll be a cleric.
Oh, it's
You
not like
can
a
back healing spell.
it's not like it's a life cleric or anything. It's a light cleric.
Ooh.
Ah, because everyone's like, oh, it's a life cleric. Like, no, I see why you would think that, but no. This cleric worships a sun god.
to keep, you can have 3 mithril chain shirts.
Dibs.
Okay, so there's 3 of those.
Is dibs a thing around here?
You turned it into it, so yeah.
Yes, we can organize this after we choose to accept the job. If we choose to accept it, you guys have the poker face of a potato.
I'm just saying, if we accept it, then dibs on a chainmail shirt. Not all of them, just one.
Yeah, you gotta call shotgun when you can, right?
You gotta be in sight.
Offer you a magical dagger that I actually have this one built in D&D Beyond already. So the dagger is called the I think it's the dagger of give and take. So very simply what it does is the dagger on a successful hit, it remembers how much damage it did, and you can use another attack after that to heal yourself or someone else for an equal amount to the last damage it did.
That's interesting.
Right. So every time you deal
Is
damage
there a
with
range?
it reset. What do you mean range?
If I
Like,
can
as a ranged weapon?
No, as in like if I want to heal someone else with it, is there a distance they have to be away?
It's the same range. So you actually make an attack roll with it. So you're hitting them with the dagger, and it has a rune of returning on it, so it always blinks back to your hand.
Oh. Okay, so
and
I gotta
so-
stab my teammates with healing.
You just gotta stab them with healing. You gotta it's a lower armor class. It's like a DC 10
Like a needle.
attack roll.
Does it work
Yeah.
with sneak attack healing?
Because you've got to smack them with it.
Yeah.
If I'm not expecting it, could you get sneak attack dice on the heel?
No.
I would already
because-
have sneak attack dice on the heal because it's the amount of damage it did. So the answer is yes. Kind of.
Yeah, so
The real question is do I get sneak attack damage on top of the healing, as in I damage them if they're surprised?
No.
Because that would be hilarious.
It either deals damage or it heals. And so like, but if for example you did that like crit sneak attack where you dealt 36 points of damage, that dagger then remembers that number 36 until it attacks again. And so it's always the last amount of damage dealt.
Yeah.
And that one has it has a returning rune, so it always comes back to the hand.
So I can stab and then throw it at somebody, heal them, and then it'll come back to my hand.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That dagger, and that's a for keeps.
I see.
I think dagger of give and take. I think that's what I named it. And then you're also offered so basically some of the anybody that wants the workers, like the people that like make and forge weapons, will story-wise they're happy to take your weapon and improve it. Mechanically what this will do is make it you can it's a +1 to attack, and it changes your damage die. So it actually splits your damage die. So like let's say you have a long sword and it deals 1d8. If you kind of upgrade it in this way, now it does 2d4, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it would make it a +1 weapon. So it would go from a 1d8 to 2d4 +1. And so
which is better.
Yeah, which is better.
Math.
Math, because of averages, team.
This might be the nerdiest magical weapon I've ever heard of.
I know, right? I had way too much fun.
Look, the damage range is going to be basically the same, except if you look at the bell curve generated by this dice roll, you'll find that the average damage is significantly higher.
Yeah, but except making it with the +1, like if it was normally a 1d8 longsword,
yeah,
right? Now its maximum is a 9, but its minimum is a 3.
3.
Just saying.
Yeah. On average, it is a better weapon.
On
overall.
average, it's a better weapon.
I just love
Math.
the fact, Patty, that you made a magic weapon that to fully understand you have to look at like a bell curve distribution.
Doesn't everyone think like that all the time? I don't.
Does it
understand.
actually become a magical weapon as a +1 automatically?
These are actually this would not be a magical weapon because it's just crafted better.
Got it.
The dagger is definitely a magical weapon.
Dagger's magic. Other weapons, not magic.
Correct.
Nah, no resistance from this dagger.
Okay. If you want it, you can also have 5 sticks of dynamite.
He's not gonna say no.
Look, I'll take as many sticks of dynamite as you got.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's call it 5. Let's call it 5 sticks of dynamite.
All right. I mean, if you want to put 10...
Do you want 10?
I mean, look, like I said, I'll take as many as you got. So if you got 100, I'll take all 100.
They give you 5.
Please don't give him 100
I'm
sticks
being a
of
very
dynamite.
generous DM right now.
That does not stop Voldrin for asking for more dynamite. Literally nothing could stop him from asking for more dynamite.
Oh, we'll have also 1 sorry. No, my brain farted there for a second. Sorry, team. Okay. Pogo is given a large bag of salt.
Nice.
Can you please large in what capacity? Can I get a reference point of large?
It's as big as my head.
Okay, that is pretty large.
What is that in liters?
Shut up.
6.
It's about let's call it. It fills the equivalent of like a 2-liter of soda.
Nice.
Yeah. If you really want a bunch of lime rocks, there's a whole group of miners that is willing to work with you, Voldrin, to like figure out what you want to do with that.
Nice.
And last but not least, in lieu of a jug of rum, Milo, you're actually handed an alchemy jug.
Ooh.
Rum.
And you say rum, and delicious rum pours out of it.
It smells just like rum.
All right.
Okay.
Try something else though, like say water.
Well, whatever it is, it still smells like rum to me.
But what I'm saying is, I think you could name other liquids, and they would come up.
Okay, like water.
And you pour a crystal clear, beautiful glass of water.
Ooh,
rum.
make up your own new liquid.
This water tastes like rum.
See if
Why
you
does
can
everything taste like rum?
see if you can create elder brain.
Ooh.
The brine.
Elderbrain juice.
If we want
And then
to
I pour
trap
it
a
in it.
neolithid or attract a neolithid to an area where we may have already set up a trap, what better thing to attempt to draw it with than its home?
It'd be like extracting the yarn pheromones from a bee.
Just to be clear
You don't
for
touch me.
some of our audience, I'm just gonna drop up here real quick. This is an elder brain.
We got links incoming.
No, they're on screen.
How big is it in liters?
It's
The elder brain.
Yeah.
This is a neolithid.
I'm just seeing it.
You guys aren't gonna
Maybe
see nothing. I'm putting it
I'm
on
looking
for the
at this-
outside.
I'm looking at the stream. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. You got it.
There it is.
This is an illithid.
Okay. There's art.
Now you know. I'm a helper.
You're very helpful.
I like to think so.
Okay. I will, by the way, team, I will put that inventory that I just said out loud
Thank you.
into the chat. But I'll do that after stream. And things that have links on D&D
you.
Beyond, I'll give that to you as well.
Yay.
So, but that is the offer: 10,000 gold
Plus
plus
stuff.
also these things
Plus stuff.
to deal with the Neolithid, and nobody's gonna be mad if you find the nephew / wayward cousin.
Right. Is there...
I think there's a fair chance he's dead, but you know.
Of course you do.
Well, you don't.
We can certainly do our best about the nephew and the Neolithid. However, what about whoever interfering?
So the dwarf at the head of the table, he sighs deeply, and he says, "I understand that following these people is what brought you here. If you can bring me solid evidence
Mhm.
that these individuals have been putting our city in danger, well, that would be a different conversation."
All right, DM question.
Yeah.
What do I have in my pockets right now? I remember I sent off like a package of information, but I cannot for the life of me remember if I sent the letter that indicated they were working with an illithid.
I'll let you decide on that.
Okay, because I feel like
you
what I
wrote
would have
some
done,
letters.
yeah, what I feel like I
Yeah.
would have done is I would have like transcribed a lot of it
Yeah.
and kept what I could and sent what needed to be sent. So if I could transcribe that letter and keep it, that would
right,
be...
where you kept the originals.
Yes.
Because
I spent like a good 2 days compiling all that.
Okay, yeah, so I think you have that letter. Do you want to show that to the council?
No, I want to show it to this guy.
This guy in particular.
In particular. I said, "Oh, wonderful. Perhaps we can have a meeting briefly after."
He nods. And
Hey, listen, I already know there's at least one fuck up at the table.
Okay. So that is, I think that's that. Maddie, the DM, talking.
Yes, I think we're accepting their offer. I don't think we're gonna negotiate for any higher. I think everybody's happy. I'm sure if there's since Kakamaka's Vira are not here, they'll be able to throw something your way as needed. But I think with the weapon chain,
right?
I mean, I don't imagine Vira's gonna want that, but
yeah. I'll say this: if there's like an item that you guys can think of that you would really, really, really like to have either for this particular situation or whatever have you, let me know and we can adjudicate that. This was kind of...
I think that
I had some of this stuff
might...
in mind.
Yeah, I think Vira might have a question in regards to the shield. Would her and Pogo both be able to stay behind the shield because she's small?
Or
maybe her and Cauldron, or her and somebody.
So I will say this. In my mind, the main benefit of this shield is that it's so powerfully resistant to acid that it will like divide a stream, like divide a cone.
Yep.
Right? So depending on how close you get the shield to the illithid's like mouth, not the illithid, the Neolithid's mouth.
Yeah, it'll just stop it and spray it kind of up and down.
Right. So basically, the closer you get to the Neolithid, the more people you can protect with the shield.
Got it. Okay. I call that potentially, but not its intended purpose. So you don't know for sure.
There's no chance you're gonna go. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're not gonna give out an apparatus of Qualish, are you? Because that would be super handy.
An apparatus of Qualish? I actually don't even know what that is, but no.
Oh, basically, it's a crab tank.
Oh, the apparatus of the crab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what the apparatus of the crab is. No, I'm not going to hand out an apparatus of the crab.
Reasonable.
Okay.
Is there an alchemist shop in this town?
Sure.
Then I would recommend that Voldrin head to the alchemist.
What about an armor of resistance? Because I mean, there's an acid option.
You just
under
flipping
armor
through
of
the
resistance.
fucking book right now?
Yes. I literally have the DMG open to page 152 right now.
I
This
will.
fucking
I'm willing to
guy.
swap one of the mithril shirts for an armor of resistance.
Yeah, I might want one of those for acid.
Okay.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah, probably. I think I can only wear medium, so I'll probably just pick a medium type.
Okay, so I'll change that to 2 mithril chain shirts and 1 acid resistant armor.
Mid-maxing people. This is how you do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is the weirdest shopping episode, I guess, because you're not actually at a shop. You're negotiating with the town council
Yeah.
for what they reasonably have in their armor.
Yeah. And I want to talk to you, big boss man.
Okay. So, okay, so...
And then I'm gonna stab him. Take all his
Wait,
stuff.
what?
Nothing. I didn't
Don't
say
do
anything.
that. Don't do that.
Council meeting ends, and anybody that wants to can, so the main dwarf guy sticks around. So does Harry. If you haven't figured it out, this is Harry's dad. The big chief, main Lord Hoskins. And he's like, what did you want to show me? Do you mind if Harry stays?
Insight check.
I didn't mind.
I'm not inviting.
yeah.
I'm not even inviting you guys. I haven't even told you guys this.
Well,
Oh,
fine
okay.
then.
Sorry. So never mind. So main dwarf guy takes just Calypso into like his private office in the council building.
Cool. I still want to get an insight read on this guy though.
Okay, yeah, give me an insight
It's
check.
a little bit more less suspicious and more passive. I just want to kind of get an eye. That'd be an insight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Insight of 15.
bad. I think 15.
He seems like, and I will say, so especially for a noble, because you're kind of used to down and dirty politics.
Yeah.
He seems remarkably like a straight shooter to you. Remarkably trustworthy from what you're used to for people of his class.
Alright, so he's still, maybe to the average person, he might still be a little bit, like, finagly, but as for, like, the overarching nobles, he's probably, like, one of the most straightforward speakers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I will did he flip to Dwarvish?
If you start speaking Dwarvish, he's gonna follow your lead. If you
Okay,
start speaking
I'll flip to
Dwarvish-
Dwarvish because I think it's more respectful. So,
Okay.
I will flip to Dwarvish, and I
Okay.
will take my bag out, and I'll probably have to rummage through it for a minute and find the documents, particular ones that I'm looking for. And I am going to specifically find the ones that were indicating a weapon, specifically the information about dinosaurs and undead dinosaurs. Then I'm also going to grab the information about the letter that I had, and I want to pass those across his desk. And while he is perusing those, I would like to say that we also found what appear to be skeletons of Illithid that were aimless in the Neolithid area layer.
Okay. So he's reading all of this, and his like brow is just getting more and more furrowed as he's reading through it. And he sighs very deeply. And,
I will remain standing, assuming.
And you notice a change in his demeanor, specifically when he comes to the name that I, Maddie, have in mind. There we go. The name of Fion's mentor, that was Fast, right? And that you have pegged as an Illithid name.
Yeah.
and he says to you, I know of Thask. I know Thask. I didn't think he'd made it out of the war alive. He's kept a low profile. Have you encountered him?
If you give me a description, but I don't.
So Thask is a mind flayer, so you would know if you.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
no. Oh, sorry. I thought when you said I pegged it as a mind flayer, I thought you were implying that it was not, in fact, a mind flayer. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
No, got it.
Is,
as far as I'm aware, no, I have not. The war was slightly before my time.
Yeah. Well, Thask is rare among the Illithid. As I'm sure you're aware, Illithids, their mind flayers' magic is psionic in nature. They don't study arcane. They are not wizards. Except for a rare few. And to do so, they must separate themselves from their elder brain. And it's such a great sacrifice. This almost never happens, but Thask did. And you immediately flash to those books on Illithid culture that you found.
Yeah.
Right? And how valuable that would be to somebody separated from the elder brain. Just of personal value.
Right. Yeah.
And then he also says that's also, to my knowledge, we killed every elder brain. And then the mind flayers can't live. Thask is the only one who could have survived because he wasn't connected to an elder brain.
In my studyings of this document, did I have an idea of how old the document was? Like, no longer than a year.
No longer than a year, right. And this work with his student, I mean, the dinosaurs sound terrifying, but I'm much more concerned if they have perfected this particular method of, it seems to be not raising the dead like a zombie, but a more of a true restoration form, but using necromantic magic.
Yes, that's what I thought was important, because there was clearly necromancy in the Neolithid's lair. We found these books, which makes me think that your not-so-friend Thask may have been living there.
My concern, of course, is that Thask's goal would be to raise the elder brains.
Would make them more durable, that's for sure.
To raise the elder brains and raise the mind flayer race.
Well, I don't know if I could blame him for wanting that. However, if history repeats itself, particularly if you're raising, if you're or rebirthing, I guess, the original brains, then they're going to have the exact same desire they had.
We have never known the mind flayers to stay within their borders. And he has this, there is a deep sadness that has come over him, and you're kind of thinking of not only the trauma of war, but he's old enough that he would remember the time before the war, and they're so close to this border country. That it probably used to be common for people to go missing. And then he says to you, tracking down this Thask and his cohort that you've been following, would be very important. Capturing them, or killing, frankly, very important. This is above both your and my pay grades.
Yes, I would probably be tempted to guess that task, from what you've described, being so good at keeping himself on, I don't know, the undertow of society, of what is going on and what's been going on, I find it unlikely that his main workstation is that out. And considering how advanced and well off those dinosaurs were, I would venture a guess that his work is close, if not already completed. Just not here.
So, I just have a quick question for you. Did you tell him about the crystal shard?
No, but I'll get to it.
Okay.
Because that's in my pocket.
Yes.
Every time Mandy says there's a crystal shard, I want Skeksis to appear, but it
Hey.
never happens.
No.
Okay.
No. Bad.
I am uncomfortable keeping this information to myself.
Oh, good. I've already passed it ahead to people who are a little bit further above me in the pay grade in the main city. That's where I'm from, so I sent it off to some higher-ups that are in that
In the
area.
capital.
Yes.
I intend to write the Prime Minister about this.
Good idea.
Okay. But other than that,
Listen,
for
all that
now-
matters to me is my whole shtick has all the information and more detailed information first.
Okay. Yeah, with your permission, I would use your name and that of your cohorts.
Oh, yes, that's perfectly fine. I'm not entirely sure if each of them as individuals would want their names included, but if you just say me and friends, that will...
Okay. He nods, and so if you encounter these two while dealing with our Neolithid problem...
Oh, we have a much larger problem if we encounter both of them and the Neolithid, and they're working together, and potentially your friend comes up. I feel like we'll be retreating if that's the case.
Understood.
But at least we'd be able to confirm the information.
Yes.
Figure out what. Because now we're dealing with a wizard. A strong one.
Or two, I believe.
Yes. Fairly.
Um,
At that point, I will then say one more thing. How they're exactly doing this. And I will kind of dig through my sewn-in pocket.
mhm.
Without touching the crystal, because I have it wrapped in shit, because
You
I'm
have
not...
it wrapped in cloth.
I will put it on the desk and gently unwrap it without touching it.
And he picks up on what you're doing, and he does is kind of like touch it with a pen,
Yeah.
right? Or quill. I can't decide the technological development of the society.
Pokes it with
They
a
probably have both
number
at this
2
point.
pencil.
Yeah, number 2 pencil. He pokes it.
Well, there's
And-
guns, so I always just assume it's like mid-Renaissance is more or
Yeah.
less where we are. Although there's also
Yeah.
trains, but I suspect those are like magical Eberron-style trains. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's one part steam, one part magic.
It's one of those things where technology advances a little bit differently because you can throw magic at things.
Yeah.
Trap a fire elemental inside of a big box, then you can just throw water at it and it'll turn to steam. Problem solved.
Exactly. And it's also kind of like the closer you are to the capital, the easier it is to get your hands on things like guns, right? You guys are pretty far away, so like
There's like maybe 2 people that are here that have like the equivalent of hunting rifles.
Eventually,
right.
we'll get to the point where our party actually fulfills the promise of the name of the game.
Yes. Just
We'll
not
get
today
that.
is not that day.
We'll get that crab. We'll get that magic crab.
We'll get
soon.
that crab.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. He kind of touches it and he's curious. He's like, "This is." I know very little of the arcane. That is not.
Our
what I studied.
barbarian has been quite charmed by it.
Mm.
And seems to make him completely docile. For at least a day.
Poe's the fighter, not the barbarian. That's Kakamakis.
I'm calling him a barbarian.
Yeah, I just
Um,
assumed it wasn't a class thing.
Yep. Stop being racist, Dapper.
It's like
I'm
that.
being classist. Get it right, guys.
That is concerning. I would encourage you to take this to and he's like, as he's talking, he's already pulling out another piece of like parchment and is writing you a letter of introduction. Take this letter to it's West Shore University, where the wizards study. And I would have them investigate it. There's one or two of our town's best and brightest have ended up there. I believe. Oh, I believe we still have a. I don't think Professor Madison has died yet. He's very old, but he's from. I grew up with him. I assume you've seen the crystal in the center of our town.
Yes, I noticed that.
What it does is it magically enforces our town's charter to anyone in the city. So me, myself, and the other noble families by the charter are required to care for the workers, our workers in the mines. And in return, we are the only ones who may own the mines. I am magically bound to that
Obligation.
If and there's more details. We revive it every 30 years or so. Revised every 30 years or so. So you may have noticed our hospital that is funded by myself, my family, and the other two noble families. The same with schools, the same with pension programs. We cannot get out of that, no matter how much some of the other family leaders may want to. We are bound to do the right thing as long as we are here and mining the mithril. And we benefit from that.
Magically enforce socialism.
Yeah.
Or capitalism.
Feudalism. There's a little feudalism in there. There's a little socialism.
A little bit of capitalism, a little bit of socialism, but rules that are magically enforced around those things.
Listen, the point is, the people in power are held accountable by some intense magic.
Yeah, as long as they want to stay there. They can leave if they want. Don't like it, get out of America.
Yep. Anyway, my concern with this crystal, and is if it were able to act on a large area, such as the crystal that governs our charter, is that it could be very useful to one's enemies.
I guess it's a good thing we're the enemy then. And I'll cover it back up, scoop it up, and put it in my pocket. And take his letter of recommendation.
He hands you a letter of introduction to, but this guy can tell you more probably about how that one works and how our crystal works.
Right, and this guy is not in this town. This guy is in
He is all the way down south in the capital.
Fucking... That's a long way to go.
It's a long way
Have
to go.
I heard of this guy? Being
this
someone who...
professor...
Being somebody who's been schooled and, is he...
No, but,
known as an eccentric or something?
Well, I guess give me how familiar do you think
History check?
Calypso how familiar do you think Calypso is with like the university in the capital?
I feel like Calypso is well enough versed in politics that she makes it a little bit of her business to know everybody of any kind of importance, whether it be within the university or whether it be within the political structure.
Okay.
So, like, if there's a guy who's starting up a business, she probably knows at least his name, if not a whole ton about him. Or if there's, like, an upstart, or if there's a family or a guy that's been there for ages, probably is gotta...
So give me a history check. Give me a history check.
I gotta... I have a
7.
+4 to that shit. I rolled a 3.
Yeah. Okay. No. So you don't know this particular name doesn't ring any bells. That doesn't mean he's not a professor there, right? Like.
Sure. I don't recognize his
Yeah.
name, but I know the university.
Right.
Got it.
Okay.
I will file that away. Is he keeping my papers?
Only if you give them to him.
So
The-
does he need them for something?
No.
Then I'm taking my papers
he-
back. This is my shit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he gives those back to you.
Does he have a pen for the city that's like, I get to take that with me?
You want like a cheap tourist stop pen?
Yeah.
You know what? There's a gift shop on the way out. You can get a postcard and a pen, any of those to your heart's content.
Do I
Even
have to
a shot
pay?
glass and a spoon?
Does he give me like a $5 gift card?
Sure.
Sweet.
There you go. Knock yourself out at the gift shop.
Sweet. Get
The-
5
you
silver
know.
at the gift shop. Get myself a crappy pen. Maybe like a little dangly keychain thing.
Yeah, love it. This building also serves as the tourist center, the visitors information center.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. So that was a lot. I'm sorry, team. That was a huge lore information dump.
And that is, we got 10 minutes left to 2 hours.
We got 10 minutes left. So to everyone else that wasn't just in that long scene, questions, comments, concerns. What do you got going on?
My one question is for acid resistance. Which medium armors are available for me to pick from?
Yeah, I feel like TD Lane isn't gonna want armor because he's a barbarian.
Because he's a barbarian.
Pogo's gonna want armor.
Pogo.
Pogo wants the shield, right?
But then again, that's actually another thing. That's the kind of question that we don't have to be on air to answer. So
Yeah.
true.
I withdraw that silly question from consideration for the next 10 or
10
so
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
I have a question that also
Um,
needs to happen off air. It has to do with Debate Hub.
Ooh.
Cool. Okay. Okay,
It has a
so
really cool logo, by the way.
Thanks. Seriously though, thank you.
Yeah,
You're the one who
yes.
did it. I only
Yes,
made some minor tweaks.
I literally made it as a joke.
So let's assume I'm gonna assume that you guys like go back to your inn and get a full night's rest, and you know
And I
you
start
hand-
working on a homunculus.
Yeah, you start working on your homunculus. Anybody who wants those weapon upgrades, hand those off to the people. They'll be done by morning. So Pogo, oh my gosh, what do you carry? You carry a hammer?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can just make it's still your hammer. It's just made better if you want it.
Yeah, of course. I think Pogo would be okay with that.
Okay.
Does Vyra
So-
even use weapons ever? I don't think I've ever seen her using weapons. I'm pretty sure I only see her throw spells.
I think she technically has some weapons, but she doesn't really use them.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah. I'm sure she's got a crossbow somewhere.
A little tiny. We do have we do have a super chat from April for 11 that says, "Can you please give me a TLDR in 2 minutes of where we're at?" Oh, I can do that.
I believe in you.
Thanks. Excuse me. TLDR, we have a group of misfits that got called to go find a missing person. When we go to go find a missing person, the town we were in got attacked by dinosaurs that were undead. So we went to go investigate the area, and then we found the missing person in a trap house that kicked our fucking asses, and we met an old lady who was kind of cool. Kakamakas made friends and licked a fucking goddamn piece of shit bathtub that turned into a mimic and ate his face off. Then chasing the people that created all this dinosaur problem, we came all the way to this town where we chased them into the woods, up a mountain where we fought some trolls, then we fought a giant purple worm that wasn't actually a purple worm and actually had psychic powers. I got feeble-minded and had an IQ of 6.2 for about 4 sessions, and the rest of the party went to try and find some druids to save my ass because they were too impatient to wait for the hospital. As soon as I was awake, I was pissed off at everybody. I'm still pissed off at everybody, and... Oh, yeah, Pogo has a voice in his brain. And now we're just making deals with the people so they can pay us for saving their asses.
Amazing.
Not bad, right?
Amazing.
We should clip that part and make it like the story so far.
The story so far. That'd be like...
Yeah.
I mean, we are at episode 20. That would be probably a pretty good thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll check with Vyra and see if she had a want that didn't get in here. Maybe like a spell focus or something. Or something to make her less squishy. Anyhow.
Okay, nobody's ever gonna let go that TD Lane as Kakamakas decided to randomly lick a bathtub.
That legit, of all the things in this room he could have licked, that was the only thing that was a mimic.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
To be fair, if I was the DM, no matter what he licked, I would have made it so that thing was the mimic.
I mean, like, I feel that, but
you
I
didn't have to.
specifically made the bathtub the mimic. So, okay, so that, you guys, you go to the inn, you get a good night's sleep, you get all your stuff, you get half your money up front.
Yeah.
Nice.
5,000 gold. Wait, no, what's math?
Yeah, it's 5,000 would be half up front.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we can't. I can't just add 5,000 gold to my character.
You
sheet
have to
because we have to split it.
Divide it by 6.
Yeah, but I don't think it goes evenly. So what do we do with the change?
Party
I'll take
funds?
it.
We're not giving it.
It'll just be 1, right? Or a max of 6.
There would be 1 gold piece left over.
Do you guys not have bank accounts? Did you even read the setting?
What's a bank account?
I hate
Bank
all
accounts-
of you.
Bank
the
accounts
setting
exist
up
in
an
the real
account?
world. I don't have one there either.
The answer is what we do is we set up a group bank account if we decide that we want to travel as a group, in which case we have to have that discussion. And then...
In-game or IRL?
Oh, sorry.
Both?
There's 2 gold pieces left over. My bad.
2.
Yeah, if it's 2 gold pieces. Hey, you guys all owe me money for the train ride. That's mine.
All right. I'm all right with this. All right. Everyone else gets 833 gold pieces.
And I get 835.
Okay. Okay. And then I'm assuming you, like, go meet up with, your, cleric friends and head back towards the mountain?
Well, cleric associates. Let's not get too chummy. They might die.
We don't want to know
So-
any of their names. That's too personal.
The clerics who meet you, by the way, is the young human male who was helping Calypso out. And
That's all right. I already forgot his name. It's probably Thomas, though.
it probably is Thomas. So fine. And a pretty old female dwarven cleric.
Probably named Agnes or something.
Her name is Wilma.
That's pretty good too. But oh, damn it! Now we know the name. What if she dies? I'll feel
Once
bad.
you name it, you start getting attached to it.
And just so you know, so she is like the old lady is coming along because she's the one that can cast Greater Restoration.
Glorious.
Okay, and then you have 2 dwarven orderlies.
I feel like we're gonna take a night's rest before we leave.
Sorry, this was
And-
you got the night you.
Potentially maybe make some plans for setting up a trap before we leave. We'll set that up ideally before we leave, and then make some tweaks to it once we see the layout and like once we assess where we think we can drag the worm to and potentially like take
Yeah.
advantage of. But other than that, I think all we're gonna do.
something I will
Technically
go ahead
before
and
we leave town.
do is
I'm
I'll
curious how you
move-
try a worm that can levitate. That's going to be challenging.
I moved your player view on roll 20 to the lair, to the Illithid lair.
Yes.
Because you guys have seen that space, so
Yeah.
presumably you could sketch out a map.
Yeah, we would sketch out a
Um,
map, and we would also want to decide on if we wanted to try to lure it within its own lair, or if we would want to lure it outside of its.
Mhm.
And by the way, Matt, this is a very fancy map that you have here.
It's a very fancy map that was drawn by Dapper Dino himself.
Yay!
I
Yeah.
love that the eyes are still there, but they're like weird now.
Oh, and a part of that trap can be, again, Dapper, Vol'jin threw out the idea of something with a bunch of lime rock. You have effectively an infinite amount of lime available to you, right? As much as you
Nice.
need.
So many gin and
with
tonics. Oh wait, wrong kind of lime. Damn it.
wrong kind of lime. I
It's
actually read in
not
my
working out.
notes salt, lime, and rum, and I almost just gave you a bag of limes.
What are we gonna do with all these limes? How do I even hold them?
Yeah, that's why I said tequila. I thought salt, lime, and tequila.
Tequila, yeah.
Tequila.
Now I want to go
So
get tequila.
Voldrin, if between now and the next time we play, like, you have time to chat with some stonemasons about what you want to do with that, but I am relying on you to tell me what that is you want to do. So I think let's go ahead and wrap there, and we can do some maybe planning offline. If you guys want to do some of your like planning, and so basically next session we would start with setting the trap and like walking into next session we would start with you are outside the lair, right? Yeah. Okay. So, oh my goodness, I think that's all for tonight.
Yay! Lore!
Lore episode, lore and shopping.
All right, I will see if I can clip us together a TLDR. Go find everybody on all their channels. Go find everybody on all their Twitters, and I really am going to remind you guys in here, please send them to me on Discord so I can just copy and paste them all into the description. That'd be handy dandy. I keep asking and nobody does.
And no one's done
No
it.
one's done it even once, so y'all a bunch of weenies. Join me tomorrow for the grand opening of Debate Hub, featuring Landon and Kirk Wilcox. That'll be wonderful and a grand old time. Then the next day, join me for the second and third episode. In the afternoon, we have Landon again, because we get a double boast of Landon, and we get Manya talking about volcanology. So if you're tired of arguing with young Earth creationists about volcanoes and Mount St. Helens, we're gonna give you everything you could possibly need to know about volcanoes. Bring your questions. Also, that right after that, a couple hours after that, we have Free Thought Profit versus the Atheist Alliance International, because I guess they've been doing some sketchy crap when it comes to voting and when it comes to taxes. So we're going to be taking a look at that and kind of issuing them a challenge. Potentially they'll be coming back.
Atheist group being sketchy?
I
I would never have guessed.
Yeah, I know, right? So potentially they will meet us back with a rebuttal at some point. Again, it is an open platform. Debate Hub is all about, you don't have to agree with people to treat them fairly. So the whole point is to treat them fairly. Assholes get treated like
also
assholes.
not hosting National Socialists.
We'll do our best not to let any Nazis on. Then on
That's a big ask nowadays.
Then on Saturday, something else is happening. What's happening on Saturday? I gotta check my Twitter. I have a whole big ass list. Ridiculous.
You're coming to
Everything.
read Jack Chick on Saturday. That's what's happening.
Everything is happening. Okay. Saturday is. Oh god, it's loading. That's how long it is.
Goodness.
Oh, right. Saturday is Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff, so I'm going to be looking at the closing remarks on that. Then Saturday night, everybody who's in here and everybody who isn't in here is invited to do our very first The Unnamed Tavern, which is just to be open forum discussion. Basically, you just have to be in the Discord, and that will be getting open to the public soon after that, so feel free to join us in there. Then Sunday is game day, and the next DemFech Friday is already scheduled, so hit the bell. Jesus, what
Damn,
are
that's
you?
a lot of stuff.
I know. There's like 2 days in a row that I have 2 streams each day.
So you're invited to go read more of the Prophet, because apparently my audience really wanted me to do that again.
Oh boy, what time is that?
3 p.m. your time. You might be busy. It's fine. Yeah,
Might be in the middle of something.
that's cool.
Yeah, what are you guys doing? Anything in particular?
Yeah, so tomorrow on my channel at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, we got the next Speculative Evolution video. We got 6 new organisms, including some of my favorite art from the project to this day. Which, I mean, granted, it's my art, so like, take that with a grain of salt, or a hunk of limestone. I don't care. Let's see. Then Saturday, like I said, at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do some reading of The Prophet, which is a full-length comic book by Jack Chick, which has baffling framing and outline and like formatting, but it's basically a bunch of conspiracy theories about how the Catholic Church is basically in control of all Christian groups that aren't Baptists, and how they created Islam, because that's a thing. It also can't figure out what century things have happened in. It's just a bunch of craziness. Let's see. Then Tuesday, Kent with Bent. That's on the, what is that, the 1st? Is that the
Yep,
first?
that's the first.
Nobody knows.
No, that's the 31st. 31st is a Tuesday.
31st. Oh, geez, I'm off a week. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tim.
So Kent with Bent is on Tuesday the 31st. Then the next day is going to be Power Rangers Jungle Beasts featuring Maddie and Bent and me, and there's going to be a couple other people. Smitty's going to be there, but I think the last guy, no one here really knows, because he's like a not from YouTube friend of mine, because I have those occasionally.
Allegedly.
Don't exist.
Weird, right? So yeah.
Who the hell's this Luke guy?
Actually, technically, I count Luke as one of like from YouTube, because like by proxy.
Yeah, fair.
Same. You guys
There you
are
go.
all from YouTube, from me, by proxy.
So then Thursday the 2nd, I'm going to be doing at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, the final episode of the Jewish Matt Powell, because someone sent me a video
Yikes.
of a guy who is basically just Matt Powell but Jewish instead of Christian. He's just as horrifyingly bigoted. He's just as dumb.
Let me know if you want him on Debate Hub.
I mean, you might not be able to get him. I think he's usually just hanging out in Israel doing stupid stuff there. But this is the guy who said that there were cold stars that if you approached too close to them, they would freeze you solid in an instant. And also that the Earth is off to the left of the Milky Way. Whatever that means.
Both true. I mean, white dwarfs are white because they're covered in ice. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably a
The
better
Earth is a
argument than whatever
star.
he said.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff on my channel. Like I said, it's usually 3 videos, or 3 things happen on my channel per week. 2 of them are often streams, but yeah.
Oh,
Maddie, you got anything before you go?
I'll be doing some kind of stream Sunday morning.
All right.
It will, I don't know what. Also, hey, if anybody here plays D&D and wants to use some of my ridiculous homebrewed magic items, Crazy Eddie's discount 6-pack or uncommon 6-pack and the Dagger of Give and Take are both on D&D Beyond and are now can be viewed by the public. Crazy Eddie's discount healing potion is also up there if anybody wants to look at that.
Send me a link, because right now Oops All Clerics is the only one down there. So, hey, Oops All Clerics, go check it out.
Hey, I wrote a module. It's called Oops All Clerics. It's about a bunch of teenage clerics that get sent to summer camp that might be a cult.
Maybe. You have to play it to find out.
Yeah, it's on DM's Guild, and there's a link down below.
And it has Chesh's art.
It has Chesh's art. It has maps made by Dapper. It's pretty cool. It's I ran it for my usual like home game group, and we ran it in 3. It took us about 7 or 8 hours, right? So that was 3 sessions for us.
Nice.
There's rules for playing Capture the Flag in there. There's some good stuff.
I was always saying D&D 5e doesn't have enough Capture the Flag rules. We need more.
It's so true. don't you
There's
want to be able
also-
to play capture the flag?
There's also a baby-sized soccer field.
Like the
Listen, it's-
size of a baby or it's size for babies?
It's sized for babies because
It's
when I
sized
got
for
the map,
babies.
I was like looking at, okay, so how big are soccer fields really? And like, yeah, the reference map did not have room for a soccer field, so I just put in a tiny soccer field.
Aww. It's like the ones that kids make for themselves when everybody takes.
Yeah. Or you use your non-cleats, your other shoes, right? That's
Yeah,
what we
whatever
always-
works. All right, let's get out of here, everybody. Say bye.
Wait, let me do my shout out.
Okay.
We're gonna
Wait, what's your
turn
shout out, Luke?
lead into gold on my channel. Make sure not to miss it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
All right,
Actually,
let's make sure you don't miss that
just let-
one. Real
like-
life alchemy.
Yes. Yeah, don't make sure to click the link that's in the description to go to my channel. Cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.